told ESPN, the plan is to get Jello ready for the NBA draft. The plan was ready for LiAngelo to spend one more season at UCLA and then leave, regardless of whether he's projected to be drafted.
21.
Jeez, bro.
I'm gonna make him way better for the draft than UCLA ever could have.
Whatever, dude. We're good, boss. Should I tweet it?
Yeah, is it up and running?
It absolutely is.
Sheesh. Look at that.
Dude, I don't know about that move, Jay.
That's ignorant.
Well, bros, just like that, we're up and running.
We are live.
We are live.
Here we are.
Well, I wasn't even ready. I'm ready. I just was unaware that we were live already.
Yeah, no worries. Don't worry about it. We were all kind of away from each other this weekend, but
yeah,
Jonah was celebrating your girlfriend's 21st.
Mm-hmm.
It's hype.
Yep.
It'll be a crazy kind of summer and that time of year for all of us when we kind of come around the corner.
Yeah. None of you guys retweet the poll this week?
No.
Definitely did not.
Didn't get enough exposure.
We only had 17 votes.
Yeah.
So could you remind us what that poll is all about?
It was, if you had to choose one, like if you could only watch one for the rest of your life, would you only watch TV shows or would you only watch movies?
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, 17 votes. 53 said TV shows. 47 said movies. So right down the middle.
Whoa, that's actually a lot more
close.
even than I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. What'd you guys say?
Judging by the day and age that we live in, that we reside in, TV shows are on the rise. TV shows, if you go back 10 years, TV shows weren't even near what they kind of are now.
Right.
There's these elaborate storylines, Netflix, all these places are just tearing it up. And so, I don't know, with the current conditions, I would absolutely take TV shows. Just keep you preoccupied longer, rewatch seasons. Where rewatching movies it can only get so great.
This is kind of tough. I personally picked TV shows, but on the other hand, there are way more movies that are phenomenal than TV shows. I feel like a really, really good TV show is hard to come by, but movies, there's a lot of them that you can just kind of rattle off. So, but I'm gonna go with TV shows probably ultimately, just because I watch those mainly anyway. So
I went with TV shows as well, but I understand the argument for either side.
Yeah.
Same.
The reason I picked TV shows is just because I feel like a TV show that has multiple seasons has so much more opportunity for the plot to develop, and you can really kind of like get emotionally attached to the show more so than a 2-hour movie, or even if it's a long movie, a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
And you can, instead of watching, there's, some TV shows can be hundreds of hours, hundreds of episodes. So,
what was the? Oh my gosh, Andrew was telling me this. I thought you told me this. So in one of Andrew's classes, the teacher randomly, middle of the class period, didn't have a particular day, just said, "Today we're doing talent show. If you guys can go up in front of the class and do your talent, get 10 points." So you could go up there, you could sing, you could juggle. The guy apparently did 4 things juggling.
Wow.
One kid said, this is kind of a party trick, but if anyone asks me a movie, I can tell them the year it came out. So literally people from the audience were going, Jaws! 2001. And you just sit there.
Wow.
Any movie. And the kid was Googling them, making sure that he was... Any movie someone said, it came out in 2013. 1982.
Wow.
Just, like, what?
Kid probably saw everything.
Yeah, like, that's insane.
Everything.
that's impressive.
And then another girl apparently was unbelievable. She did this singing, rapping type ordeal. And so Andrew, I think, was maybe going to go up there and do it for 10 points. But then everyone was amazing. And he's like, fuck that.
Right. That's funny. That's kind of cool, though, for extra credit.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Or was it extra credit, or was it like an assignment?
No, it was just extra credit.
Okay, cool.
Teacher randomly must have been bored, didn't have a lot to cover or something. It said we're doing a talent show today.
What would you go up there and do? Because I know you'd go up there.
That's what I was thinking about. Because I can juggle, but I don't think I would juggle because the kid just did the 4 things juggling, and that would make
that's tough.
And I was kind of thinking I might do the McDonald's rap. Just go up there, do the McDonald's rap, and sit back down.
You're damn good at that.
For some reason, I know that pretty darn well.
It sticks in your head.
I don't know why.
Well, you get it stuck in my head so easily.
Yeah, I can do the beat pretty dirty.
I think I would just keep my ass planted in my chair.
You wouldn't get up there for the 10.
No, I think I just.
Do you guys have a talent? You think?
Take a pass on this one.
Like, I'm
not a talent, but
particularly
like a party trick. The Rubik's Cube is kind of a party trick.
That's what you should. If you had it.
If I had it on me, I'd take that.
There
Other than that, though.
Do you have anything like that? I think.
I don't think so. Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
I want to learn. You should learn some sleight of hand tricks.
No, the card trick. You and your card tricks. Dude. David Blaine Jr. over here.
Yeah,
I had some sleight of hand. I hadn't.
I've seen these party tricks with poker chips and people just snap them and then they're all gone and weird stuff. It's really cool. You should learn a couple and whip that out randomly.
We should honestly have Jay do like a magic special on one of the casts.
Yeah, just do a 20-minute.
No, I'm talking like an hour.
We're just watching them.
Sleight of hand, card tricks.
I'll prepare all winter break.
Yeah, no, that would actually be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
Just something.
That. Totally. I mean, going on greatest things you can think of or little I heard this interesting, and this is a little deep, but the guy was talking about how he wanted to be a father. Just so he didn't have a very good adult life or a life as a kid. His dad was really hard on him, didn't have a good relationship, and his whole goal was to do everything he can to be the best father he can possibly be to kind of make up for his bad childhood. And he was kind of saying, I want my kids to look back at their childhood and go, this was the best memory I ever had with my dad, and just kind of think of little things like that. And I was going to ask you guys, do you have anything like that? That if you think back to your dad, like what's a really good dad memory? And I'll let you guys think. I don't want to put that on you, but
no, I think
I have a weird memory with my dad that I think it was on my birthday or some weird day, and I was in 2nd grade and I got pulled out of school at lunch. I thought this was the coolest thing. And I got pulled out of school. Me and him drove to Pizza Hut, and at lunchtime they have unlimited pizza, and we smashed. And then I got dropped back off at school, and I got loaded up with donuts to give out for class, and I was just like, Dad, you rock. Oh my god! I remember that day being so father-son like and so chill. And that's fine. That was a random one, but
I think I have one. Go ahead. So we went on the fishing trip to Canada when I was super young, and I got horribly sick. And these gnats I was covered in like gnat bites and stuff. And it was actually a horrible trip. But my dad, we left early because we went with our neighbors. My dad took me home early, and we had to stop on the way home because I felt like shit that much. And it was like a 8-hour drive that turned into a 2-day trip because I just felt like crap. So it was a long period of time, like in a super long period where me and my dad were just bonding. He was just taking care of me. I was like on my deathbed. It was terrible.
Dang.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of negative, but
it's a nurturing moment.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
The most nurturing. That's fair.
Yeah. That's funny. Mine's kind of similar. Mine was when I came back from Cooperstown. I went with my dad to Cooperstown. We drove back. So it was like a 9 or 10 hour drive, and it's just the boys. There's no need. There's no need to. There's no need. There's no need. I'm 12 years old. There's no need to stop to take a piss. I mean, we got a lot of empty Gatorade.
Oh, it's that kind of road trip. Gosh, Jesus!
We got a long drive.
No,
we don't need to pull
like
over
that.
every time.
Yeah, I like that. Gotta stay on the open road.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll say it on the podcast. Why not? So he was driving. He had to piss. So he takes the Gatorade bottle, whatever.
Your dad.
My dad. He's driving down the freeway. And he's pissing in this Gatorade bottle. Well, he missed a little bit and got it on the car. And he's like, shit, Jonah, hand me your pillowcase.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, I'm not giving you my pillowcase. He's like, we're going to be home anyway. You're not going to need it. We'll wash it when you get back. Just give me your damn pillowcase.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
so,
lo and behold, he wiped it up with the pillowcase?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, dude. I'd be pissed.
I wasn't very happy about it.
No.
But, I mean, you can't just leave it there.
I mean, did you go back to using that pillowcase, or did you alternate?
I can't remember. I mean, I'm sure it got washed real good before I...
That's rough. That's a lot different than Josh's moment. That's funny. That's a lot different.
Well, I mean, I was just sitting here thinking of something. I mean, there's other. So there were. We took our trip to. It was maybe my junior year of high school. We went to the Hard Rock Hotel in Punta Cana for our spring break. And so one of the things we got with our hotel was you got all this free money, so you could go to Putt-Putt and spend some of your dollars through the hotel and all that. And so one of the things we decided to do was the massage. And we had enough dollars to get the full experience massage.
I've heard this with happy endings.
And we were like, full experience? Whoa, that's intriguing.
The whole package.
I'm going to read on.
Yeah. Read the fine print.
Yeah, and turns out it was a pre-massage where you go through sauna, ice bath, relaxation to get you ready to go to your massage. Right. So we're like, oh, it's an hour early. It's probably just hanging out in a hot tub or just whatever. And so we get there, and no, it's super commotion. Don't really know what's going on. He's telling me one thing. So they bring us in the locker room. And he's like, take all your put the robe on. And he comes back, why do you have the robe on? It was just hectic. We didn't know what we were doing. And finally, this guy directs us to a steam room where it was a never-ending steam room. And all of a sudden, me and my dad are fucking around in there, and this guy emerges from the back of the steam room. Like, we didn't know how big it was.
Oh, yeah, massive, probably.
So we start in the steam room. Guy ends up somehow losing track of us. We're in there for way too long. And he's pulling us from in and out. We're going from the showers, and so we take a cold shower, and then we get brought to a sauna. And in the sauna, he comes and he's like, why don't you guys have your water? It was just a mess. And the next thing you know, we jump to a mud room and we're rubbing mud on our bodies. And the guy goes, oh, and don't get it on your suit. And it gets all over our bodies. Just this terrorizing.
It sounds anti-relaxing at that point.
It was such a mess.
Yeah.
And during the process, we got the person that was directing us switched like 2 or 3 times. This guy said, do I have you guys? And we're like, we don't know. And but in the end, it was a crazy just father-son moment. It was me and him just dying laughing at the bullshit that was happening to us.
That's funny.
It was a fun trip.
Shotty's a good guy.
It's cool that dads are just treating us more and more like bros.
Seriously.
Shotty calls me bro.
Oh, jeez. I've only heard that 100 times.
Yeah, I know. I like talking.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times.
I'm closer with Josh's dad than Josh is, but it's cool.
He calls you bro.
Called me son.
Like regularly? Oh, God.
I don't know. I think it's been a couple times.
Well, I found something in the news that I thought I should share with you guys.
Please.
So, do either of you watch Man vs. Food? Josh?
Yes, dude. I love that show.
Okay. Now, I don't know when the episode's going to air. It didn't say. But Dog Central is about to be
They have the challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I read that
Dude, I'm legit going to see if I can go to that.
What's the
challenge?
I believe it was... No, they already filmed it and whatnot.
It's already done?
I'm pretty sure it is. I think it was this past weekend they were in town. Don't quote me on that, though. The article wasn't very... I don't know. The article was kind of all over the place. But I did get that... So have you heard of the challenge? I don't...
What is it?
So the challenge is...
You do have it?
Yeah, I have it. So
it's chili dogs, right?
3-foot-long hot dogs, an order of fries, an order of onion rings, and 20-ounce drink. And you have to eat it in 25 minutes.
I could do that.
But
And you win a T-shirt and you win $10 if you complete it.
Pretty sweet walkaway.
I could do that.
But I'm pretty sure the hot dogs are chili.
Yeah, they have like all the toppings and
like loaded all toppings.
Yeah,
3 footlongs.
Big guys.
3 of those footlongs, a big filling thing of onion rings and fries and the drink. I don't know. 25 minutes.
Yeah, I still hold that I could do it.
You think?
Yeah.
You'd be walking out of there with a T-shirt?
Yeah, I think so.
And $10.
That doesn't I've heard of worse. That doesn't seem too daunting.
Yeah,
it's not atrocious.
I was gonna ask
on a rainy
you guys.
day, I think I might be able to.
If I planned for it and I just maybe didn't eat for about 48 hours.
Do some fasting.
Yeah.
Have you done any food competitions or challenges period before?
I've not.
No.
Not at a restaurant or anything.
Been tempted sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because there's some that just seem like too easy.
What about that?
Like
one?
what?
That seem too
what
easy?
other food comps are you running into?
There was one at Hammond Pub where it was just like
really? I didn't know that.
Like a quarter-pound burger with like, or maybe it was like a pound burger with.
Big difference between those two.
Huge difference.
I could eat two half-pound burgers.
That's all it was. Is just 2 half-pound burgers.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember just singing. Oh no, you're gonna be walking out a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean,
I went to one place that it wasn't. I think if you got on the wall, you got your meal free, but it was a bunch of records of how many hot dogs you could eat, how many of their chili dogs you could eat. So one person's name was up there for 32. One person's name was up there for 28. It was just That's all gross. These names pasted with the number of hot dogs under there. It's pretty cool though. They were everywhere, and I think I ended up eating like 7 dogs.
Wow, that's a lot.
We should go to Dog Central and try it one time.
Yeah, we definitely. Well, I don't know if I want to try that.
What if we did a bros thing there? What if we did the podcast while eating? The 25-minute podcast, and we're just
we wouldn't be talking much.
No.
But we could live stream.
Well, I mean, we're not going to be Joey Chestnut and those hot dogs. Damn, Jay.
No,
Jay's like, I only need 5 minutes.
I'm saying, but if you're on a time restraint, there's not going to be much time to just sit here, have conversation, and casually
25 minutes is 25 minutes is a lot of time.
It's a lot of food to get down in 25 minutes.
Dude, I'm pushing. If I am lucky enough to even come close to getting it done,
that's true. You got to eat fast.
Oh yeah, I'm using all 25.
Because if you stop, that's when you really fill up and everything starts to expand. Especially those onion rings. You might want to save those for later.
You got to get the hops in.
Oh, gosh. I went to a place over, I think I was a senior in high school for a baseball tournament in Indiana. And a place had a scale, and it was like a smokehouse, so you get ribs, whatever.
Yeah.
You pay a flat rate, you get endless ribs, and then you can challenge somebody, and you can see how much weight you gain after you eat.
That's cool.
And I was so sick.
How much weight you gain? Do you remember that?
Like a pound and a half or something like that.
Yeah, it's
but like, I don't even remember. But I was so sick. I had the chills and I was yakking.
Oh yeah,
it was bad.
That's crazy.
It made me sick as hell, dude.
Were they barbecue ribs?
Oh yeah, they're unbelievable.
Loaded with sauce.
I was throwing them back, dude.
I'm not gonna lie. It's been a long time since I've had a slack of ribs.
Dude, nice slab of ribs.
It's good. It can kind of bring you back to reality.
I had about damn near every meat you could have this weekend.
Really?
Oh, I guess I haven't told you about that, have I?
Wow.
So for Anna's birthday, we went to this restaurant in downtown Detroit called Texas de Brazil.
It's a Brazilian restaurant where they cut the meat for you?
They had 16 different cuts of meat. You just pay one flat rate, and they walk around, and they'll just come up. You want some of this? Yep. All right, and then they just cut it off.
Slice it, yeah.
I had about 12 different cuts of meat. Oh my god, it was so good.
Dude,
so
and full. it's all even a little bloody, and everything's cooked perfectly.
Yeah, it's unreal.
It's fresh. Everything's just fresh, steaming when it gets on your plate and everything too.
Have you been there?
No, well,
there's
Brazilian meat restaurants. That's what a lot of them do.
Something like that.
I went to an all-inclusive resort that had that.
Yeah, I've had that.
It was just like
some of the best meat you've had.
It was good. It was really good.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy too because you kind of find your favorites even. You're like, ooh, I want some more of that.
Yeah.
And then this is.
I was just trying to try everything.
No, I feel. And that's something you eat. When you eat that much meat, you're full for
a while.
Yeah. It just kind of sits and just constantly getting absorbed.
I ain't eat until like noon the next day.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so this was down in Detroit.
Yeah, why don't you talk about your weekend in
Detroit? Yeah, I was down in Detroit myself watching UFC 218. It was great.
217 or 218?
I'm pretty sure it's 218.
218?
218. Oh, you want to look it up real fast?
Absolutely.
Gosh, I thought it was 218.
No,
it
218, yep, you're right.
It was unbelievable. I haven't told you much about this, but it was truly the coolest sporting event I've ever been to. And it trumps a basketball game any day of the week. It was unbelievable. and I was telling Dayton this, and so when we first got there, it was just hype. I mean, obviously we got there at about 6 o'clock. We walked in, or maybe 5:30, and we didn't leave till 12:30. It was a event to say the least.
It's a marathon, dude.
Yeah, and because the main card didn't start till 10 p.m. But so we get there and we're hanging out and all that, and Little Caesars Arena is beautiful. But it's wild because the first fight, I was really uncomfortable. Because I just got this weird feeling from actually seeing it with my own two eyes. as like, this is a little messed up. Like, I'm paying to watch these guys try and kill each other.
Yeah.
Almost an example I said to Dayton is the Django, thank you.
Yep.
The Django movie, when they're watching the two black guys fight, and I kind of got that feeling watching them, and it was just, I was like, I don't know how this is going to be. And then you watch them just embrace each other. They're loving each other while they're doing. It's just an art. It's a really cool thing to watch, and it was just so goddamn intense the whole time. When you got in these fights, I found myself white knuckling the chair, like, because you're just watching these guys damn near kill each other, and I'm sitting in the crowd just freaking out. And the wildest fight we saw, personally, I think, and Brad put it on his Twitter, was the fight between Alistair Overeem and Francis Ngannou. And this Francis Ngannou is French, and he actually was homeless for a long period of his life. And they found this guy. He went to a random gym. He was homeless. He went to this gym. And this guy is 6'5", like 270. And recently he just broke the strongest punch in the entire world. And I looked up the units. So before was this guy named Tyrone Spong. He got 114,000 units. That was the world record for a long time. And he walked in and punched 129,161 units.
Without training?
I think he'd been training, but this is just this random guy that walked in and broke the record on the first try by 20,000 or so, or 15,000.
That's wild.
He's just this natural beast. And so he was fighting Alistair Overeem, and he ends up knocking him out with a uppercut, and maybe we'll retweet Brad's video on
the hammer fist after
on our Instagram, and then he hammer fists him in the face after. And when you're watching that from about 100 feet out, and you see this like murder happen in the middle, I was standing there with my hand was covering my face, and my eyes were as big as they could go. And so was all six of us. Brad looks back at me, just the most wide-eyed look, like, what did I just sit through? What did we just see? Like, and at the same time, Alistair Overeem is just motionless on the ground. Just literally damn near dead.
Yeah.
And it was just the most crazy experience to sit through, and you're just on the edge of your seat, like freaking out and having these pain like break. It was just wild. It was unbelievable. Overall, it was great. I would go lengths to go to another one of those, honestly.
Really?
Like, I can truly say I've never had that with any other event. I've been to basketball games, and it's kind of like, okay. I mean, I didn't even go to that Final Four opportunity back in the day before spring break. Just because I go to basketball events, and sometimes it ends up, I'd rather be watching this at home on my old TV
There's
set.
some sporting events like that for sure, yeah.
But this is something that I went to, and I said, I'm definitely going to go to another one of those. That was unbelievable.
Maybe you'll be in the ring next time.
Yeah, and a wild part was, it was about a ratio of 9-1. 9 guys, 1 female.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
It was a lot of testosterone in one building. Bless it.
Bless. Excuse me.
But, geez, these people were wild. And when girls would fight, all of a sudden these woo, 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 throughout the whole crowd, the whole entire stadium would be screaming this stuff. Just weird little chants, weird stuff. We ended up watching 4 or 5 fights, just full-blown brawls break out in the stands. Just people talking shit, just insane. We watched one of the bigger fights, and these guys looked at each other right next to us. Literally, it was probably like 8 seats over was it happening. It was insane.
Sweet.
And this girl was going crazy. F you, F that. Yeah, get the... Just screaming. And then her boyfriend looks at the guys and he goes, let's take this we're going up. They take off, and I think they solve their issues in the parking lot. Like, it was a whole nother world in there. And here
they went out and killed each other out in the goddamn park.
Here we are looking at each other like, we gonna make it out alive?
Yeah. You don't know.
I mean,
don't bump into somebody and get your ass beat.
Who knows?
That's wild.
It was a crazy crowd and a lot of guys.
Scary, dude.
That's cool.
Had a blast, though. I would do it again.
Now, what about you, Jay? What was your experience with Detroit this weekend?
I was about a mile down the road from where Josh was at.
Okay.
Never saw him.
Right.
It was Noel night in downtown, so a bunch of businesses are doing stuff, and there's a lot of cool activities going on, and there's I think 10,000 people in Midtown Detroit. It's packed.
It's a big event.
Huge event. It's they do it every year. I think it was the 45th year they're doing it.
Nice.
So, the DIA, which is about a quarter mile away from Anna's place.
Cool place.
Really cool. I was there 2 hours before, and then there was a shooting that happened at the DIA.
I haven't been at the DIA.
Was someone stealing some paintings? Do you know
Yeah,
anything
robbery?
like that? Was it
we didn't know. We didn't know for a while. I just tried to read a little bit before. It sounded like there was a fight going on in an alley with a bunch of teenagers, and 4 teenagers got shot. I think it was a couple 14-year-olds. There's a 19-year-old, maybe a 15-year-old.
Damn.
But we didn't know this at the time. And so we just kind of heard there was a shooting, and they shut everything down. And it was kind of scary because they never caught the guy.
Yeah.
Wayne State's campus was on lockdown all night.
My God.
All the university buildings, all the libraries couldn't leave. It was wild.
That's not good.
So that was kind of scary. So it ended up they caught the guy. They're not really releasing much information. They caught a 16-year-old is who was responsible for it.
Jeez, man.
But
That's young.
it was scary because we were so close. I was there. I was literally at the DIA less than 2 hours before that happened. I could have easily been there.
Yeah. So it was just nearby. It wasn't anything involving the DIA then. It wasn't somebody trying to get in or...
No, it didn't have anything to do with the DIA. It just happened
nearby.
in front.
Yeah, gotcha.
But it's scary just because there's a lot of people out. Like I said,
yeah.
if we would have... If plans were a little different and we ended up going out later instead of earlier, I would have been there. Or I could have been there. It's scary.
Would you jump in front of a bullet for Anna? Hey. You don't
So,
know.
I read something that was sort of disturbing, referencing shootings. So, this guy... Stop laughing. This guy in Delta Township, who's actually younger than we are, he's 19, made threats on LCC, and he was charged with the count of threat of terrorism.
What is it? LCC?
Lansing
Community College. So this kid was a extreme conservative, neo-Nazi, white supremacist type figure, and he collected guns, I guess, or something, and he had an AR-15 and another gun in his home with over thousands of rounds of ammunition. And he had sent a Snapchat video to one of his friends saying, I have shown him all of his guns and his ammunition, saying that he's going to go to the school and he shouldn't go because he doesn't want him to get hurt. He was letting his buddy know not to go to school.
Dang.
So his buddy called the cops, and the cops immediately went over there and arrested the kid before anything happened. Thank goodness.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
He told his buddy, watch at 3 p.m. on the news. I'm gonna be on there. Just watch what I do.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so they caught the kid and arrested him, and he's gonna get minimum 20 years, I think. 20 years in prison.
I hope he goes away forever, dude.
That's a scary guy to be roaming.
I know.
Did they ever figure out a motive why he wanted to do it?
No,
or anything?
there's not a lot released because it just happened last week. So, and I didn't hear anything really about it, so I was sort of confused. But I just recently sort of heard about it, and
dude, that's wild.
That's close. It's extremely close.
Yeah, holy crap! I didn't necessarily think. I was thinking about that as a national story. I just remembered that you said Lansing community.
Yeah, we know people in Lansing.
Yeah.
Who knows? So
there's a lot of threats like that get shut down that you never really hear about.
Right.
And if you heard about all the stuff that got shut down, it'd be really scary.
Yeah,
it would.
I know. That's why even people say it was never this much crime back in the day, which might be true, but at the same time, we report on everything nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
You get an update for everything. So yeah, this crime might have been happening, but they just didn't necessarily.
Well, there's a lot more mass shootings now.
No, I'm not saying mass. I'm saying, well, I don't know. Yeah, there is more mass shootings, but
it's
a problem.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, but yeah, thank goodness everyone's safe. They put Lansing Community College on lockdown immediately, even though they got him.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't know. So,
yeah, he might be with somebody. Or...
Who knows? But I guess he was sending videos, just, like disturbing, threatening videos to multiple people before, so he was sort of asking to get caught almost, it sounded like. But
bragging about it.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Thank God his friend just didn't sit back.
I know. Scary stuff.
Too many adult pops before he goes.
I don't know.
Yeah, what kind of brings that about? But
who knows?
I was thinking about this question recently. Andrew brought it up to me. Would you rather never have, I guess we were talking about never have alcohol or never have caffeine? So you can never have an adult pop the rest of your life, or you can never have a coffee or tea the rest of your life. Or an alcohol, and so you couldn't have wine.
Right, I know what you mean.
You couldn't have a Monster. You couldn't have tea. I guess you could have decaffeinated, but
I'd probably say go without caffeine. I mean, caffeine's not that essential in my life. I mean, neither is alcohol.
No,
But not being able to go out and celebrate or have a good time, that would stink. There's other ways to wake yourself up, like cocaine, of course. It's always a good option.
Just become a cocaine addict.
I don't know, hop in, take a cold shower, put some cold water in your face. I don't know. Like I could get around without ever having caffeine again.
That's a good point. Because you're right. You're never gonna have those celebratory moments in your life.
I agree.
And there are a lot of people who go through life without drinking alcohol.
We're not. Yeah.
It's not a must. I mean,
not saying
but neither is caffeine.
But at the same,
both aren't musts.
People can go through their life without caffeine.
So. Yeah, for sure. Both aren't good for your heart.
Yeah, I guess.
So,
what do you think? What were you gonna say?
At first, I said caffeine or coffee, because dude, I drink coffee a lot.
You said you would rather have coffee.
Rather have coffee than
alcohol.
You're a big coffee guy.
To lose coffee would be a big deal in my life.
You can still drink decaf.
That'd be a hole.
What if I'm starting to rethink? What if the would you rather is not decaf? What if it's just pure
caffeine,
coffee, anything that caffeine was? So Mountain I couldn't. Dew? I'm trying to picture it without having coffee, because that's the staple.
Well, could you have Mountain Dew though?
No, that's caffeine.
Well, come on, that's bullshit.
I think it's caffeine.
Yeah, you lose a lot without caffeine.
Damn.
Couldn't have a Coke.
Because you have chocolate? Because chocolate has caffeine, doesn't it?
Not all of it.
Some
I think some
they make caffeinated coffee.
Yeah, I've had one of those. That shit works.
A chocolate bar with caffeine in it?
Have you guys ever tried the caffeine gum?
We just tried it on our trip.
How was it?
RT tried it. I don't know, made him sick to shit, I think. I don't know. He didn't feel well after he was feeling it. I don't know. I haven't tried it.
Yeah, dang.
So.
Seemed like caffeine, pouches, like
really?
similar to a tobacco pouch,
but
it holds caffeine instead.
It has coffee grounds in it.
Yeah,
really
flavored coffee grounds. You can get different flavors.
I would love a little coffee.
I wonder if people trying to quit chewing use that, and if it works.
Yeah, because it's supposed to.
It gives you the
buzz.
feel.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a strong caffeine buzz.
Interesting.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start throwing a dip pretty soon.
Gosh. Anyways,
I saw a cool story. I had it written down for last week. So there's a woman, or I guess it's not cool, it's sad. A woman drowning in her own poop.
That's shitty.
No pun intended. So she went in for a very minor routine surgery, and during the surgery a scalpel slipped and cut one of her intestines open.
Oh no.
Whoa.
And so she's had a bunch of surgeries to try to fix it, but there's a leak, and so all of her fecal matter is backflowing into her body cavity. And so now they showed an x-ray on it. Her whole body cavity is covered in shit, and it's getting dangerous because it's kind of pushing up into her lungs, and she's having trouble breathing, and they can't really figure out what to do, and time's kind of running out. If they don't figure it out,
Dude.
if they don't figure out what to do, she could literally drown in her own feces.
It's one of the more uncomfortable things I've ever heard.
I read that and I was just astonished.
I didn't even really consider that a thing until now.
I think it's the first time they've ever seen it.
I wonder what kind of people they're, because I'm sure they're trying to call doctors to help with it.
Oh yeah, she's
who knows if they call plumbing guys?
She's vomiting out poop.
No, she's not. Stop.
That's what I've heard.
Oh,
they might call people that have
I think it might be backflowing
sewers
back into the stomach, or I don't know.
Oh, dude.
It's a serious situation.
Can you imagine that? Vomiting poop? Hell no, dude.
Isn't that crazy?
That's serious. I hope they figure that out ASAP.
All I'm saying is, I wouldn't be surprised if they get a plumber's opinion on what to do. Start maybe.
A plumber?
We got a serious.
My grandpa's a plumber.
Really?
Maybe we should give him a call.
Grandpa D.
Grandpa D. Oh my god.
You guys have anything? If not, I'll keep running down the list.
Go ahead, D.
Go ahead, Jay.
You sure?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, I'll just go down to this one. Actually, I found this one this week. So there was an old war between Croatia and Bosnia.
Of course.
Of course. I mean,
Croatian
history 101 right there. And so they were trying all of these Croatian war criminals. So there was, I think, 5 of them being tried, and they're all older.
Old guys.
And so the court upheld this sentence of 20 years for each, for each war criminal to be sentenced to jail, which for a lot of these guys is going to be the rest of their life.
Right.
It's going to be a death sentence, essentially. So while they were reading the verdict for one of these war criminals, he stood up and goes, "I do not accept this verdict. I will not take it. I won't stand for it." Pulls a vial out of his suit jacket, drinks it, goes, "I just drank poison," and died 20 minutes later.
Wait, hold on. Did he ended up dying?
In court. In court. They read there was a panel of judges. They read the verdict. He stood up, said, "I won't stand for this. I reject what you guys think, whatever."
How recent is this?
A couple days ago.
Last week.
I saw this on Twitter right when it happened.
And he drank poison and dropped dead.
I saw the report right when it happened. Breaking news: so-and-so drinks poison in courtroom. EMS on the way. And so the dude ended up dying?
Oh, yeah, he died.
Oh, they thought he was bluffing.
That is
he was lying.
crazy.
Dead. And so there was a huge uproar and huge investigation on how can you let this guy bring this into the court?
I literally thought...
Whoa, dude.
Yeah, that's...
Isn't that crazy?
Guys, whack job, man.
I mean, he was 74 years old. He's getting sentenced to 20 years in jail. He's going to die in jail.
Whatever.
To him, it's better off. It's better off dying than to live his last 10, 15 years in a hellhole, especially in a foreign country. You don't know what type of criminal justice system they have over there, what type of prisons they have.
Yeah. Still bitch move, though.
I literally thought...
it is. I mean...
Chicken shit.
I literally thought when you were explaining that he's going to pull out the vial and, smash it on the ground.
And disappear.
I thought that's where that story was going.
And then I remembered.
And then I was like, this is real life.
Escaped.
He's gone!
Cloud of smoke.
I didn't know... Oh, God.
That's funny.
You were talking about the DIA. Has there been any things, not at the DIA per se, but massive art robberies?
Successful art robberies? Nicolas Cage and National Treasure?
I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, man.
In recent memory, I can't think of
I'm
anything.
trying to sit here and think. I don't remember ever seeing that on the news.
I'm sure there has been. And I think it was more...
the Mona Lisa's on the loose. Nobody knows where the Mona Lisa's at.
That would never, ever happen.
Could you imagine that, though?
That's damn near impossible.
Yeah, that
unless stealing the Declaration.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless Nick Cage is on the case, that Mona Lisa's safe and sound.
He's a vampire. Nick Cage is a vampire.
I've seen that thread.
Have you?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
True. It's a true statement. Look at the pictures.
Honestly, yeah, the secret lies with Charlotte. So
yeah.
I think there was a lot more art robberies back in the day when art was more
not covered with a camera 24/7.
That's a good point.
I think that has a lot
less security.
When they were establishing like more museums and stuff, I feel like it was. I'm serious.
No, it's just funny how you're bringing that up.
You gotta fill the museums with something.
Oh, I agree.
But everything's pretty locked in stone where it's at.
I mean,
not a lot of history.
I don't see any new massive museums popping up.
The museum market is booming. This is stupid. The transferring, like, Rob, the art going in the new museum.
Yeah, the armored truck.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy. What do you got?
Well, I recently just read about an online fad that's going around called the Fire Challenge. Have you guys heard about it?
No.
So
you sound like my mom.
Yeah,
that does sound like a mom.
This is one of those.
You hear the kids who are doing heroin up their butt. And I'm like, apparently all the teens are doing it now. I'm like, this is the first I've heard of it. She's like, I heard it on the news.
This is actually one of those scenarios. I haven't heard of anybody doing this, but apparently there are kids that are covering their bodies in rubbing alcohol or hairspray, whatever it may be, and then lighting themselves on fire and then jumping into a tub or
a pool or something.
And it's called the Fire Challenge.
Oh.
Supposedly, a second grader, so 7 years old, was watching. It's not funny at all. Was watching this video on YouTube of somebody doing it, and his little brother helped him spray this whatever it was, aerosol, whatever, on his shirt and lit it on fire. And he actually went to go take his shirt off, and he had hair products in, so it caught his hair on fire, and his face got super burnt. 3rd-degree burns. Just
Whoa.
75-80% of his body.
Oh my!
Just burnt to shit.
He'll forever be deformed.
At 7 years old, yeah.
He'll never
skin grafts, of course, everywhere.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Wow.
Yeah, like I said, haven't heard. This is a lot different than the Ice Bucket Challenge, obviously. And haven't heard of anybody doing this.
No.
But sad,
dude. That's scary.
7 years old, second grader.
I can't believe.
Why would somebody want to do that?
I don't know. I saw a few videos, like there's people doing it on YouTube. It wasn't a crazy fad, but there were search results that came
I'm
up.
sure it's a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Why? I just can't wrap my head around why somebody would do that.
I don't know.
It sounds horrible.
It does sound exhilarating. It's like walking on those hot coals, dude.
No, that's completely different. Those coals are so shitty conductors of heat that you don't burn your feet if you walk on it.
If you walk on it correctly, I know. But that's kind of what it's like. I mean, you're not gonna get hurt by it if you do it correctly.
What
if midair, while you're like jumping off a diving board, midair?
That's not what these people are doing.
I've caught my hand on fire before, like my whole hand. When I was working at the fountains, I was spraying some bees with some fire. I had a
flamethrower.
I made a little homemade flamethrower. There was a huge bee's nest by where I was working, so I took some spray sunscreen and a lighter.
Oh, Jay.
What?
And that's torching the nest, and it caught my hand on fire.
That is.
It was just like a half a second. I shook it out. It didn't hurt. I didn't feel anything, but it scared me.
That's what I'm picturing for this fire challenge. I do it,
but still,
no implications.
I would never willingly do that.
No. But I wouldn't walk over a bed of coals either. I'll tell you that.
I agree. I mean, I would do that. That's not as dangerous if you just walk. As long as you're not standing on it.
No, but I feel like maybe I'd trip out. I'd trip or something.
You just get up real quick. You'd be fine.
I don't know though. I'm pretty sure you get bad burns.
If you fall and
Mr. Burn.
Just take that.
Yeah, Christian knows the first thing about burns.
That's not funny.
It's bad. Some of the pictures, no, it's getting there, but couldn't even close his hand together.
Oh man, shit.
Like, his whole finger was almost gone here, and
wow,
we almost chopped it off.
Jeez, Joe.
I almost had to be the butcher. Yeah. I guess that's all that's going on.
You got anything else?
I've got a couple more things, but I don't have to go over them. I have deer hunting that I'm not very versed on. But
no, that's okay. I heard an interesting. Have you got? I mean, I'm sure you've heard it in psychology. The whole location-based theory, and how when you're in your bed, it's kind of the whole conditioning for wherever you're at. Or if you want to go meditate, you sit in a certain spot. And if you want to go get a lot of work done, you make sure that this is the only thing you do when you sit down here is do work.
Right. Your mind associates certain places with certain feelings.
Exactly. Almost like they say you shouldn't stay up late and be on your phone in bed because it's going to be harder to go to sleep.
Right.
And it's almost it's hard to work out at your house because you're by the couch and it feels weird working out by the couch. And there's this guy, Alexander Bell. He was an inventor by similar to Edison's time and everything.
Alexander Graham Bell.
Yeah, huge inventor, all that kind of stuff. And he did this for everything. It was ridiculously precise. Had kind of not panels in it, but would have a million different areas for a million different things he'd be involved with. And he had sheds that he would go to, and just this guy was he was kind of the first guy to really bring interest to that, of doing something in a different location.
Yeah.
And it was a crazy story to listen about. And he's just basically promoting the sense of set these destinations where you get all your work done. And you have this, because he would even explain how he has a different frame of thinking at each place. And incredible guy. So, and one cool thing is he doesn't get a lot of rep because a lot of people would steal his patents, and he was so wrapped up and so interested in inventing, he wasn't worried about dealing with all the legal matters, and he just didn't even want a hand in that. So he would just make these things and sort of give them away.
Wow.
But cool guy. I was reading all about him.
Sweet.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, I guess. Yeah. Sports are cool. Pistons are great. Pistons looking great.
Yeah, Josh.
Lions got dominated last night, right? Or yesterday?
Lions are shitting the bed.
Yeah,
they're falling apart, but yeah, I guess that's pretty much all that's going on.
Yeah.
Exam week. We'll have an exam week special on Monday.
Try to, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll just do a study session on it. All right, well, see you next Monday.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Still on 21%. See you guys.